This is going to be a fun one. Let's do it. And there's a reason why they said what they said, and because this is going to be pretty controversial, I think. But let's get into it. There's been plenty of discussion about Brendan Sorsby, and from a college standpoint, from a NFL Supplemental Draft standpoint, all of those things. We haven't talked about it from a Bengals standpoint. Now, the Bengals have Joe Burrow. They have Joe Flacco. They have Josh Johnson. Should the Bengals be interested in Brendan Sorsby? And to be even more concise here, buy or sell, that the Bengals should use a pick in what we're expecting the supplemental draft to be next month, in next month's supplemental draft for Brendan Sorsby. Buy. In-sync in its prime. Buy. But I'll let the sellers go first.
We are not in sync. No in sync here. Sell.
This side is in sync in a big way.
This side is just you.
That's right. We in
It's
sync.
a powerful side of the
We in sync. What you got? Why sell?
What were those names that you just listed off again in the Bengals quarterback
Joe
room?
Burrow, Joe Flacco, older than us. Josh Johnson, older than us.
They don't need him.
I'm just saying. They have a combined age of
everyone's older
like
than
80
Jacob.
behind Joe Burrow. Yeah.
No, they don't need him. But the bigger thing for me and the reason why I'm selling is Zach Taylor has prided building this locker room a certain way, the culture, the character, the type of people they are bringing into those room. They're captains. They're good stand-up guys. I just don't see Brendan Sorsby fitting into this locker room. This gambling, everything that happened during his college career, gambling on teams he had played for, no matter whatever has happened, that is always going to loom over his head. And maybe not forever for his entire career, but it's going to be there for a while. So anytime he is going to enter a game, it's going to be in the back of your mind. Is there something else at play here? I don't want that kind of controversy. I don't need that kind of distraction in a locker room and amongst teammates. And I just don't think the Bengals need to bring in that kind of situation into a locker room. That seems, like a pretty gelled team together.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with really everything Marisa just said, but even just to take it a step further, I don't think Sorsby's good. So in order to put a comp pick on a quarterback coming out of college and want to use him as a backup, you have to believe in the talent anyway. And I don't think he's an NFL quarterback, or certainly not a round 1 or round 2 quarterback where a lot of people are talking about him potentially going in the draft. If the Bengals were going to make a bid to be competitive and actually try to add Sorsby here, I think it would have to probably be a 3rd or 4th rounder, which I would not be comfortable bidding for Brendan Sorsby. So I'm completely out on this for all the locker room and character reasons that Marisa said, but also for football reasons where I don't think Brendan Sorsby is a very good quarterback.
Yeah, all right. So he's anti-UC, and I'm just going to put it out there right now. You don't like Bearcats. That's why you don't like
He's
me.
a Red Raider.
That's what it is. Yeah, fine. But you made up your mind about Brendan Sorsby. Brendan Sorsby was a good college quarterback.
When he threw for 65 yards against Nebraska.
Yeah, you keep bringing up Nebraska. That's one game, one. 2, NFL evaluators have it much closer to your guy, Ty Simpson, than they do your guy, Sean Clifford, for example. And Sean Clifford was a 5th-round pick. No,
yeah.
But I'm just saying, there's a reason why we're talking about this. And if he was a 5th-round NFL quarterback or a 6th-round quarterback, guess what? It would cruise by, and he won't get picked in the supplemental draft. But he's going to. That's why there's all this discussion about him.
NFL's never gotten quarterback evaluations wrong.
No, I get it. I understand that. But Desmond Ridder was a 3rd-round pick. Brendan Sorsby's better than Desmond Ridder. Not even
pretty close.
Not even close.
He's got the tools. He just can't play football.
Not even close. No, he can actually throw it. Ridder couldn't. And so I just comparing UC, that's part of it. Here's why I buy it. And this is a gamble the Bengals should be willing to make. And it's simple. Because you don't need to do 2nd round, 3rd round. This is like a 5th-round comp pick. Marisa talked about distractions. There are no distractions when it comes to an instant, you're the 3rd quarterback in the room at best. He would come in and kind of be stuck and be at best an emergency 3rd quarterback, but you're taking a flyer on the talent. I would use a 5th-round comp pick on him, or a 5th-round supplemental pick in the draft. And if for some reason the NFL overthinks it, then you just stole a quarterback that was going to be I would say day 2 pick next year. I never bought the 1st-round hype either, to your point. But day 2 pick next year, and you get him in the 5th round, and you can develop him, and there's no pressure for him to play even a little bit this year. You're not going to have to wonder about what he's doing. All he needs to do is focus on football and learn the playbook, because there's no chance he's playing this year regardless. So it's an investment in the backup quarterback of the future. I don't think there would be many distractions. There would be an initial news push, and then it's Brendan Sorsby. He's not a star. He's a fine player, not a star. This has made him a much bigger name than he was 2 months ago. And so once you get past the initial news wave of taking him in the draft, if you somehow got him in the 5th round, then I think that would go away, the storyline would go away. So I don't buy that the distraction would be huge. I think it would be a gamble worth making in the 5th round. I wouldn't go higher than that. It's very much we're at an auction, I'll put a bid in, and it's that simple. And it's a low bid where you'd I'm comfortable doing that. But if I'm the Bengals, why wouldn't I be in the quarterback talent acquiring business behind Joe Burrow? Joe Flacco's 40-plus years old, signed a 1-year deal. Josh Johnson, who knows if he makes the roster? Sean Clifford on the roster as well, isn't part of your long-term plan at quarterback. So for me, we're going to talk about quarterback next offseason regardless behind Joe Burrow. That will be a topic. Can you get ahead of it? Why wouldn't the Bengals have that discussion? And 5th round is nothing. I'd be in on the 5th round if teams overthought it. I don't think that will happen. I think he'll go in the 2nd round most likely. 5th round, though, buy it all day long.
I disagree. I think this is always going to be a talking point, and especially early on, especially this first, second year, however many years he's ended up in the league or with a team. It's going to be a distraction because we're going to consistently talk about it. In national media, I don't care if he's a 3rd quarterback or not. He is still on your roster. We saw it at Indiana. He didn't play, but he was still gambling and betting on the team. It's going to be a distraction.
I'm more with James on that front. I think if he's not starting, it won't be talked about much, if
he's
at all.
He's not even going to dress if the Bengals get him.
I think once he gets to the league, this will pretty much go away. That's why I've been saying the whole time that I don't think he should be allowed in the league, because I think that's what makes it go away. But if he's a 3rd quarterback somewhere, I think this does go away relatively quickly, and he can get, if his play deserves it, then he'll get to a point where he can start in the NFL. I don't think he is the level of player that I would be willing risking this type of thing on. And if he was much better in college, then sure, I would ignore this and draft the player in the supplemental draft. But a position that you don't need at all, really, and then a player with a lot of question marks around him, both on and off the field, seems like a big, big risk to take on a player that, even in the best case scenario, doesn't provide much to your team.
Sorsby Sundays, a pregame show with Brendan Sorsby, because he's not dressing for the Bengals. Bengals 5th quarterback, Brendan Sorsby.
Then he can give out his picks.
Yeah, for sure. But I would use a pick on him. And the NFL is much higher on him than you are, obviously. Yeah. You just think he's just bad.
NFL draft fans and college football fans are 2 very different places on Brendan Sorsby.
No doubt. And I'm in the middle. That's why it's 5th round. If I thought he was a 1st-round quarterback and the Bengals could get him for a 3rd rounder, and I thought he was worth the first. Yeah. If you could get
no question
Mendoza for a 3rd round pick, even with Joe Burrow, you do it because it's the best backup quarterback that you could get, period. That's how I approach this. It's can you add to your room? Is he going to be a distraction? Initially, Marisa thinks it's going to be forever, and that would be the debate. I don't want forever distraction. Shedeur seems like a distraction past 1 year and whether or not he'll play. Now, if the Bengals had drafted him, would that be the case, or would they know his spot? He's the backup behind Joe. I think that's interesting. I think he's a much bigger name, though, than Sorsby. Sorsby is going to have to be buttoned up, and that's it. Otherwise, his career is going to be over right before it gets started. And so I think if I'm the Bengals and I can steal him, I would be in the market of stealing him because of the position he plays, because of that value. And there's more people than not are going to be on your guys' side. Just avoid, why would you want the distraction? Why would you want to do? I would be surprised if a lot of people were on my side. But acquiring a quarterback that is talented, that could end up being your long-term backup for Joe Burrow over the next 4 years, that makes sense for me for a 5th round pick.
What's the most value of Brendan Sorsby? Say they do bid on him in the supplemental draft and they win. 5th round pick for Sorsby.
Yes.
What is the most value he can provide for this team? Is it 3-4 games when Burrow's hurt over the next 2 years where he comes in as the backup? Is it starting him in the preseason, having him light it up, and then flipping him for essentially that 5th round pick, maybe that you bid on him in the supplemental draft? What is the vision for Sorsby providing value to the Cincinnati Bengals?
He's A.J. McCarron.
Okay.
5th round pick, comes in and brings you stability in that backup role. And that's it. That's what you would be asking him to be. You're not asking him to be your long-term starter or threaten the starting job or anything like that, like people thought with McCarron and Dalton. That's why I bring that up. You're not doing that. But you're spending a 5th round pick on a backup.
Right.
And spoiler, with Flacco's age, we will, again, in March, we're going to be talking about, all right, who should they sign? Should they bring back Joe? What should they do at quarterback? Well, Joe Burrow is going to get a longer-term extension and more money at some point. You probably want to get a young quarterback in that room. And so that's the other element here is the long-term option, especially if you can learn from Flacco and Johnson right now. Probably a good spot to be in. It's not like he has to learn from just Joe. There's other guys in that, other vets in that room.
I sat here last week.
Have I convinced Marisa yet?
No.
I don't think so. We sat here last week
very
talking
hard
about
sell.
the Bengals finally got through minicamp without any distractions, and now James is adding the distraction of the football offseason.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say because I know we're not going to change your mind.
It's a gamble the Bengals should be willing to make. I don't understand.
And that's the thing. Yeah.
It is because they wasted a fifth rounder. Like that's every draft in a lot of ways. Like a lot of their fifth round picks don't work out. It's whether you like it or not. That's just part of the NFL. Taking one on a quarterback, using one on a quarterback that would go much earlier. I'm not against it.
The only bets you know you'll lose are the ones you don't make.
I would make it. I don't think the Bengals will, but we'll dive into that for another day. I think Marisa had the intel there. Sell.